Hello everyone, we are group number 6 and our group members are Jin Seok-byun and Seok Sim. And today's our topic is about Nintendo Switch. So have you ever seen these characters? I'm pretty sure all of you guys probably have seen all these at least once. As you can see on the slide, these are the famous characters of Nintendo such as Mario, Kirby, and Pokemon. Nintendo gained sensational popularity by launching Nintendo Switch in 2017. And we will talk about how they could be successful and also be failed with their specific ideas and strategies. So first, let's talk about their company profile. Nintendo company is mainly engaged in the development, manufacturing, and sale of entertainment products in home entertainment field. And Nintendo is founded by Fusajiro Yamauchi in Kyoto, Japan in 1889, and it is still headquartered in Kyoto, Japan. And Nintendo company is known worldwide for Mario, Zelda, Kirby, and hundreds of Pokemon, which is the Pocket Monster characters. And Nintendo's game console and their gaming systems have ruled the world market since their debut. And Nintendo's mission statement is we believe it is essential not only to provide the products of the highest quality, but also treat the every customer with attention, consideration, and respect. So from now on, let's talk about their brief history and their innovative ideas in the past. 130 years ago, on September 23rd, 1889, Nintendo was born, but not the incarnation of Nintendo we know today. In 1889, Nintendo founder Yamauchi began manufacturing and selling the hand-painted playing cards in Kyoto, Japan. Then over the next few decades, the cards were so popular in Japan that the company became the largest car selling business in the country. And they also created the cars with Disney characters, which brought the success and opportunity to export those worldwide. Nintendo released its first Nintendo Entertainment System, or NES, to the United States in 1985. At that time, home video game consoles were on a major decline in the US. And the NES was not a rousing success right off the bat, but sales began to pick up in 1986 once the NES was bundled with the blockbuster game, which is Super Mario Bros. And in 2006, one of the Nintendo's innovative products, which is called Wii, was launched in the United States. The success of the Wii was due to its innovative control system. And then unit sales for Nintendo branded video game systems has been on a steady decline since 2010. However, in 2017, Nintendo released the Nintendo Switch, which did so well in its first 10 months on the market, and even it outsold what the Wii made in 5 years. And today, Nintendo is still attracting lots of customers by introducing the iconic characters with captivating storylines and user-friendly devices. And next, let's talk about major crises that Nintendo company actually encountered in the past and their specific way of business management to solve those issues. First crisis they met was occurred in late 1980s, which was when few years later after the first video game was developed. At that time, most of the operators thought that the video game market had literally collapsed with dead, defunct, and kaput, but all because the producers of the arcades had saturated the market and were there to complain about the bad luck which are created by themselves. However, the Nintendo and its founder instead had already identified the solution, which is focusing on the domestic market, so-called home gaming. And in a very short time, they launched their own Nintendo Entertainment System with the famous game which is called Super Mario Bros. Then this console and game were sold in almost 62 million copies all over the world, and this was the best sold console of its era. And another crisis they encountered in early 2000. A company Sony and another level American tech company, Microsoft, eyed the market with a different weight class. They had more resources than little Nintendo could ever dream of. And they could draw knowledge and resources from their other lines of businesses to produce technologically advanced devices. So Sony's PlayStation 2 was released in 2000, and Microsoft's Xbox was released in 2001, which had the great processing power, sophisticated graphics, and sleek design, and also with an inbuilt memory. So therefore, the PlayStation 2 and Xbox definitely put in a corner the Japanese house and its game console. But however, the CEO of Nintendo was not just devastated by those sense of powerless. Instead, he kept considered to solve the crisis, and he decided to identify the casual gamers in the market to compete with PlayStation and launch the Wii model. Since the Wii model has lots of advantages compared to other competitors' game consoles, such as fully integrated system on motion controls, an easy operation method, and various type of sports games which are friendly for non-gamers as well. The Wii was a phenomenon that didn't slow down for more than a year. As we can see from their tremendous efforts and the attitude to solve the crisis, their success has been guaranteed for a long time ago. While most other companies in same industry were watching it goes down and blaming the environment and other factors, the Nintendo took the crisis as an opportunity and worked hard on new development. And it seems like that those distinctive mindset of taking the crisis made the Nintendo company as a market leader in video game console industry. So from now on, let's talk about the pestle analysis of Nintendo. First one is about the political stability in Nintendo's major markets. Nintendo's major markets actually include the Japan and the Americas and Europe, and these geographies have stable political climate and provide good opportunities for business expansion. The government and administration in these markets promote the fair practices and have also stepped up the efforts on piracy and the counterfeits, which helps Nintendo sales. In addition, growth of online business ecosystem in these markets also helps the Nintendo to deliver its products and services to its customer. And second one is about the economic factors. An economic crisis is a significant problem in the market, considering that it can cause reduced manufacturing. Improvements in performance levels can result in boosted production, which results in economic downturn, once more as a result of excess supply, as well as the low demand bring about the closure of firms as a result of reduced revenue. And the Nintendo market has actually gone through the economic downturn from 1991 to 2007, and there's a possibility that the same thing can happen in the future as well. Third one is about the social factors. Increasing smartphone adoption globally will also increase the digital gaming penetration. According to leading industry research, the current number of smartphone users in the world today is 3.5 billion, and this means 45% of the world's population owns a smartphone. And this figure is up considerably from 2016, when there were only 2.5 billion users, which are 33% of that year's global population. Further, mobile gaming and console gaming growth is expected to increase more over the next 5 years. And these trends signify growing potential for Nintendo's products. And the fourth one is about technological factors. And following the comprehensive development of various technologies, on augmented reality and virtual reality technology are in spotlight for their new technology that will lead the next generation. And since the Nintendo president, Furukawa, decided to expand his company's current interest and its exploration on augmented reality, if Nintendo can put their unique creativity and new AR technologies together well, it'll be a hit once again. And fifth one is about the legal factors. Improving patent protection and product regulations in developed economies will help the established players. The importance of protecting patents and strengthening the copyright protection has increased as competitive companies around the world advance into foreign markets. Therefore, improving legal stability and their patent protection will give more opportunities to win among other competitors. And last one is about environmental factors. Focusing on creating environmentally friendly products would be more important in the future. Since the environmental pollution prevention and eco-friendly products have become more popular and are even considered as essential part, concentrating to develop the products which are exactly related to those points will also give them a lot of opportunities to increase their revenue.
Hello everyone, my name is Seokwan Shim. Next, we will talk about SWOT analysis. First, strengths. Nintendo's strength points differentiated with their competitors are their powerful intellectual property and image of family. Monopoly of good game is important factor to attract customer, and number of good game is directly related life of gaming console. For these reasons, securing good game is important to gaming console company, and Nintendo is better than their competitors in this problem. Super Mario, Pokemon, Zelda, and many other famous games become basis of Nintendo's console sales, and this good intellectual property develop themselves in many other ways. And image of family is also good points to differentiate their position in gaming console market. Compared with their main competitors, PlayStation and Xbox, Nintendo targeted young customer, and we can notice from their low console price, hardness of console, low age requirement games on average. This image will increase preference of parents who find present for their child and sell first experience of console game to child. Then, it means they secure customers who prefer their products since their childhood. Next is weaknesses. There are two chronic problems of Nintendo: low hardware spec and lack of third parties. It is an unavoidable choice to combine portable and stationary console, but this low hardware spec compared with their contemporary competitors made it hard to play AAA games which guarantee at least millions of sales. Most of AAA games require high hardware spec for this high graphic, so that's the reason why it hurts to play it on Switch. It means attractiveness of Switch is falling to most of common gamers who like famous games. And lack of third parties also serious problem. Number of third parties is related with life of gaming consoles, but continuous failure of GameCube and Wii U made many third parties select out from Nintendo. Success of Switch draws some third parties, but Nintendo's own user control system and unkindness game development tool become high entry barrier overlapped with their low hardware spec. Next is opportunities. First is games market itself. Games market shows continuous growth every year. They grew almost twice in 6 years. It is surely good news to companies related games market. And more important point is this growth continues. Second is chance from coronavirus. This picture is waiting Nintendo's new game released May 12 in Korea, but it caused a controversy because that time government required the social distancing policy for coronavirus. Over the right or wrong, we can know interest about games were. Coronavirus seriously damaged to most of business, but it is not only bad news in game market. As we know, the WHO recommending video games as an effective way to stop the spread of coronavirus. Actually, people want something to enjoy at their home. Sales of games shows definite increase for this. Last is stress. There are two main threats. First is growth of mobile game market. This is global market share in 2013 and 2019. We thought games market grows twice in 6 years, but we have to focus on mobile game market growth. For the development of smartphone, quality and accessibility of mobile game are increased, and mobile games market growth have traveled in same time. People predict percentage of mobile games market share will bigger and bigger as time goes. Therefore, mobile game market will be essential to survive in game market. But Nintendo neglected this mobile market at first, so they don't enter mobile market until 2015. Their late entry and overlapped position of portable is obvious threat to Nintendo. Second is generational shift of competitors. This is data about release date of gaming console. Switch's competitors are PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, which is 8th generation gaming console, but there are a significant gap of time for years. PlayStation and Xbox's 9th generation gaming console will release on 2020, but there is no news about generational shift of Nintendo's console. It means current gap among their hardware spec will become more seriously, and many customers will choose other platforms to play new games. In sum, I will evaluate Nintendo Switch as a temporary success. Their challenge to mix all of their past consoles' advantages work well, and it is connected high sales of their new product. This chart is comparison accumulated sales amount of Nintendo Switch with PlayStation 4. PlayStation 4 is evaluated one of the most successful gaming console and had highest sales record in 8th generation gaming console. As you see on this chart, the result is impressive. Switch's sales growth is higher than PlayStation 4. The 3-year data is impossible to regard as a coincidence. Nintendo Switch is successful. It is clear. However, we have to know this success is from innovative gaming console, not improvement of chronic problems in Nintendo. Low hardware spec, lack of third parties, tyrannical third-party management using monopolistic position, weak security, and not sales policy. Like this, many chronic problems from past are still accumulated in Nintendo. Nintendo covered these problems through their largest fan base in the world, but the truth that these problems give damage to Nintendo is not changed. If they don't show any action to improve them, they can lose their fans no matter how the prospect of gaming console industry is good. We have two recommendations to prevent this terrible future: expansion of mobile game market and increased support about indie games. First is expansion of mobile game market. As we told, Nintendo neglected this mobile market at first, so they don't enter mobile market until 2015. But they changed their policy because of their serious sales slump for mobile game growth. At first time to enter mobile game market, Nintendo thought they have potential to success in mobile game market, consider their portable games characteristics and strong IP. It is proved through sensational Pokemon Go. Nintendo released 6 mobile games after the success of Pokemon Go, and some of them is successful. However, they still hesitate to make a mobile game using their franchise. Although to play their franchise through mobile can be damage to their console sales in long-term perspective, but they need to accept market change more forcefully. Current ambiguous attitude cannot bring any merit to compete in game market. Second is increased support about indie games. PlayStation and Xbox will release their 9th generation gaming console at the end of 2020, but Nintendo needs more time to release their next gaming console. It means they need some way to catch their customer during that time. Numbers of game is solution for this, but it is their weakness point compared with competitors, and improve them is hard to do in short time. For this problem, increased support about indie games can be way to gain time. Indie games require low cost and time to develop, and low hardware spec. This means they don't have to apply on Switch compared with AAA games. Nintendo already had policy that implant indie games, but it is limited to indie games already proved they're famous in other platforms. Get out of this limited policy, I recommend decrease the standard of implant to Switch and support third-party development of indie games. This will extend the life of Nintendo Switch among competitors' next-generation gaming console. This is our reference and end of our presentation. Thank you for your listening.